I contacted Andy Roberts. Yes. You're not a blue belt. You lied to me. You're not a blue belt. No, I'm sorry.
I'm a blue belt, to be honest. I'm not high up.
No, but you're not a blue belt. You said you're not a blue belt. That's why you want to take a picture of me holding your belt to look like I promoted you or something. Man, you're a liar. You lied to me. Don't tolerate that. I don't want to turn you. I contacted him. He told me you're not a blue belt. He's very upset that you pretend to be a blue belt. It was clear. You tell by the way you practice techniques. I don't want to train here. Okay? I don't tolerate that. Okay, sorry.
Take that belt off. I always find it funny when, cases like Moneyberg or something like this happens, and people are like, why do you care? Why are you so upset? It happens all the time. People like Moneyberg and these fake belts, they're like, why do you care? Why are you so upset? And I'm like, man, I do care. I don't want to see people like this, And the thing is, you can tell that person ain't got the skill. You want me to turn my eyes off and pretend like this guy's a blue belt or that guy's a black belt when they clearly aren't? Man, that's not what jiu-jitsu's never going to be like that. You can do that in karate, possibly American karate or something, but as long as we're in jiu-jitsu, as long as all the old school people are in jiu-jitsu, man, that just can't fly. When you can't shrimp out, you can't do some certain moves, and you got a belt in jiu-jitsu, man, I'm questioning who'd you train with? Where are they? When did you get this belt? Are you sure? Give me that belt. I'll just take the belt off you. Yo, man, go ahead and give me that belt, man. MacTube says, what is your mentality when rolling with a female that's much lighter than you? Just roll normal. Try not to crush them and just roll normal. Use more flexibility. That's it. I mean, man, some of you guys can't. Do you go 50 or 80%? You just go whatever feels natural. I mean, some of you guys be going hard with the girls. And some of you, LOL Snap can't be with the girls. He might impregnate them. That Cuban calcium might get on top. If she's going all out, just try to meet her where she's at. Now, she might be upset. Some of these girls crazy too. You try to roll the exact same way they roll with you, and they get upset. So just play it by ear, man. You got to adjust. The same question, how do you roll with kids? I mean, don't kill them, but you still got to work too. LL Snap says, Josiah, give me $200 and I got you a blue belt, man. They won't say nothing to you. Well, we'll still say something. Now, we won't say nothing to LL Snap's face, but we'll still say something. Josiah says, I hate liars. Mushmaster says, he should have just said he got it online. he said, I got it from that guy. MacTube says, no, I mean, if Marcelo was actually bigger, like Giancarlo's size, well, he wouldn't be Marcelo then. You can't change his size or dimensions. He'd have been even more unstoppable. Well, I don't know. I mean, Giancarlo not unstoppable. Giancarlo be losing to small people all the time. I wouldn't change anything with Marcelo because he wouldn't be Marcelo anymore. He would have his whole style wouldn't work anymore. The arm drags from Butterfly, all that stuff would probably be gone. His quickness would be gone. His ability to jump on your back in a moment's notice would be gone. Dorothy Slipper says, next time they gonna expose fake trial class guys. Josiah says, Marcelo trained some of the best, but Marcelo should be in the Jiu-Jitsu Hall of Fame. Yeah, he should be. He's not in ADCC Hall of Fame or IBJJF Hall of Fame. He might be. This is why they don't let me roll in the front of the school anymore. You crazy, LL Snap. He says, because I will tell black belts and other people you need to get a refund on that belt. He got the Cuban standard over there. Josiah says, I rolled with a female the other day and was told not to go full force on her. That's good. Usually we don't put new people with girls though, unless they are more experienced. But it's not my school. What do I know? MacTube says, do you think there's a genuine consensus, even though everyone has their own criteria on what a blue belt, purple belt, and brown belt should look like after coaching for many years? Well, I have my ideal of what a blue belt and purple belt and brown belt is, so it's very subjective, and we can see that that standard is not held everywhere. You know, some places they give the belt too fast, some places they don't give the belt at all. I think there is a minimum threshold of technique that you need to have as a blue belt. You know, basic self-defense stuff, get out of a headlock, maybe a takedown or two, a couple guard passes, couple sweeps. You should have a general understanding of what you're doing in jiu-jitsu. Now you won't have all the answers. You're probably not creative, but you have a solid foundation, a solid foundation of what jiu-jitsu is. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I know when I see a blue belt. Hopefully, I can definitely tell when someone's not a blue belt. You know, understanding of the basic movements of jiu-jitsu. You know, I don't know what else to say. But that standard might be eroding nowadays because you guys don't warm up. You don't guys don't want to drill, don't want to warm up, don't want to be instructed to. Now these newfangled ecological bros, I don't know what belt they got. They can't shrimp. They against the side. They don't like the side mount. They don't. Josiah says he's in the ADCC Hall of Fame. Marcelo is, okay. LL Snap says, I treat women like men. Do you want to act like a man? Okay, I'm going to treat you like what? Okay, LL Snap can't roll nobody. LL Snap says, it took me more time to get my blue belt than it did to get my black belt. You know your coach was like, man, you got to get some technique. Mushmaster says, cue the Islam Makhachev soundbite. I need to get one of those soundboards. Once I get some more money, I'll get one of those soundboards. Man, you're not a black belt, brother. What is this black belt? Yeah, I'll get some sound bites. LL Snap says, Raul said, because I had personality problems, LOL, and I was an asshole. Yeah, okay, yeah. And sometimes the people ain't ready for the belt. They ain't got the behavior is terrible. They creeping on all the girls. Yeah, you ain't getting no belt for me. I don't care how good your jiu-jitsu is. You gotta have something outside the gym too. You gotta have some discipline, some focus, something, man. Mushmaster says there should be a universal curriculum. I know for Alliance we had a belt test, so you had to have like, you know, a certain number of techniques from certain positions. But they could always go off the criteria. They could throw a curveball. Okay, how do you do a berimbolo? Oh, okay. What do you do if this happens? You know, you should be able to converse about jiu-jitsu techniques. If you're a blue belt, you should be able to converse about techniques and be able to adapt to certain techniques. Okay, what if he puts a knee shield here? How are you going to get past his guard now? Now, if you ain't got no answer, if you ain't got a decent technical answer, you shouldn't have that belt. Especially in the gi, you also need to know certain gi techniques. Okay, what kind of open guard? You know spider guard? How do you pass the spider guard? How do you pass spider lasso? What about De La Hiva? What about this deep lasso? How do you get out of this deep lasso? Certain things you got to understand. So Mushmaster might be right about that curriculum. Mushmaster going to start his own. He's going to start his federation. We just got to write the business plan down, Mushmaster. Josiah says I've been slapped if I rolled with a woman like that. Yeah, don't do what he does. Josiah. They're not gonna have patience for you to do that stuff. LL Snap says purple belt and lower needs to be warming up no matter what. It builds personality. MacTube says, do you agree that people who compete have a better chance? MacTube, you asked me a lot of questions, bro. Too many questions. Let me play this video one more time.
I contacted Andrew Roberts. Yes. You're not a blue belt. You like me. You're not a blue belt. Oh, I'm sorry.
Too many questions, MacTube.
I'm about to be honest, I'm quite high up.
No, but you're not a blue belt. You said you're not a blue belt. That's why you want to take a picture with you holding your belt. You look like a promoter or something. Man, you're a liar. You lie to me. Don't tolerate that. I don't want to change I contacted him. He told me, you're not a blue belt. He's very upset that you pretend to be a blue belt. It was clear to tell by the way person seconds. I don't want to try to do that, okay? I don't tolerate that.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, Matt, you asked too many questions, bro. Somebody answers his questions for me. LL Snap says, I was tapping black belts as white belt. Well, that's I'm not gonna say that's not normal, but it happens. You know, of course you can catch them old, bro. What were you in your 20s? Of course you can catch them old black belts back in the day. The black belts with no knees, can't play guard. Yeah, you could beat some of them old black belts. But were you beating the good black belts? Probably not. LL Snap says, the problem is I was just too wild, and I can admit that I've calmed down a lot because I have to leave the other Cubans to the promised land. Thank you. He over there hurting people, knocking people out. MacTube said, yeah, MacTube, too many questions, bro. I'm sorry, bro. LL Snap says, in order for us to get our black belt, we have to get Shark Tank for an hour. My other black belt, I think I was the only person in the history of the school that tapped everyone. Jesus Christ. How old is the old black belt? It's more of mentality. An old black belt is a black belt that is, you know, kind of stuck in the old ways. You know, they still doing 1990s jiu-jitsu, 1980s jiu-jitsu. I mean, there are some older black belts. I think once you hit 50, you starting to get in that old black belt territory. And then LOL snapped over there trying to beat the 50-year-old black belt. The 50-year-old black belt with the, you know, he got a full-time job and he waiting for retirement. LOL Snap early 20s looking like a monster, tearing them apart. LOL Snap says, Mush and I will work for you for free just because I like you. Who, me? Dorothy Slipper says, I'm not a blue belt based on your criteria. All right. I'm sorry. But listen. It doesn't matter what I think because I'm not your coach. It really just matters what your coach thinks. Josiah says, if Landon Elmore could tap out Keith Krikorian as a purple belt, then anything is possible. Well, Krikorian messed up, and purple belt's one of the most dangerous belts out there. You know, purple belt is one of the most dangerous belts. You know, a good purple belt can take out, you know, entry level and mid level black belts. I think a good purple belt can. Now Landon, he's not gonna beat like a top black belt right now. Like that ain't gonna happen. But he could do well against entry, mid level black belts. Because you know purple belt's just that magical. I mean, most purple belts, if you're winning like big tournaments at purple belt, you good, and you like usually pretty young, you're gonna do well. That's like high school. That's like me saying a good high school wrestler could get to the world championships in wrestling. It's happening. It happened. There's two kids, Jax Forrest and PJ Duke, high schoolers that made the world teams. It can happen. And you know what? A lot of those older guys, especially in wrestling, they beat up. Those collegiate wrestlers be so beat up they can't even move against those high school wrestlers. Patrick T says Masters 4 for the win. MacTube, Flo just released a highlight video of all the submissions from European ADCC trials. It was good. I would check it out. We watched a little bit of that. I'm probably not gonna go back to that, but maybe we'll see. Josiah says he who shall not be named wouldn't have tapped out to Landon. Maybe. Well, I don't know what Krikorian was doing. He left his leg out. I know that kid's good, but he left his leg out. It happens. You know, it happens. I'm trying to type. Somebody commented something on Moneyberg's YouTube. There we go. LL Snap says, not at the time Studio 76 Gordon Ryan was coming in. Yeah, but that was skinny Gordon. How much did Gordon weigh back then? Was that 88 kilograms, Gordon? Mikey was coming in. Raul was there. Roberto was there. A bunch of UFC fighters. I was tapping guys who are considered good nowadays. Yeah, but you know, Gordon used to be human back in the day. Josiah says, my cousin said that Owen Jones would beat he He who shall not be named. I'm still waiting for that match. LL Snap, how you not on EBI and who's number one? He says they have to pay me. I'm a prize fighter. I don't do anything for free anymore. That's true. You should get paid. All right. Now let's look at some of the comments too. Let's see. LOL Snap says, I gotta get that money. It says new fear unlocked. Visiting a gym on vacation and being so bad you get accused of lying. Oh no. Well, some people just bad. Some people just bad. That's true. So it says, I just take a white belt. I prefer they say you roll like a purple belt than who gave you a belt. who gave you a belt? We gotta check. Jiu-Jitsu people, quick. Where are you from? You from Gracie Baja? Where Gracie Baja? Who's your coach at Gracie Baja? The thing is, you should be embarrassed anyway. If you say you fake blue belt and you getting crushed by everybody, you're gonna be like, dang, I better take this off. Josiah says BJJ athletes. MacTube says, I feel like it's not so much your belt level that determines your ability to beat someone, your experience and style. Well, your belt represents your experience. Your belt does represent some of your experience. Now it won't cover all of it. It won't cover all of it, but typically, if you're a black belt, you're gonna beat most everybody. Typically, well, it won't cover everything, but odds are it's gonna be in your favor. BJJ athletes need to get paid more money or better money. LO Snap says, man, purple belts are dangerous. If you're gonna get tapped by anybody, it's gonna be a purple belt. Yeah, a young purple belt or young brown belt or young black belt. Yeah, young anybody. If they joints are working really well, it's gonna be tough. And they're wiry. Josiah says Landon Elmore, Rafael Ferreira, Christos Papadelos, dangerous black belts I've ever seen. Well, typically, say at world championships at IBJJF, usually we're looking at the purple belts to see who are going to be the next upcoming guys. So if you're winning at purple belt, usually you're going to be pretty good at black belt, brown and black belt. Typically, your purple belt world champions are going to be the up and coming guys, really. Dorothy says, you seen Gordon's gi class video from today. He human again. Aw. Well, Gordon used to be human. He used to be skinny, and he wasn't destroying everybody like he was in his prime. LL Snap, he was on them too. I think he just started. It takes time for that to kick in. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine, MacTube. He only said it about 2 or 3 times though. That's fine. As long as he doesn't overuse it, we're okay. Yeah, as long as he's contributing to the conversation in the chat, he's okay. Landon is the one chosen as a purple belt. He's the one. There we go. Look, MacTube. He's doing good. He doing good. Josiah doing good. You doing good, Josiah. I have no complaints right now. Moneyberg ain't it. He ain't ever gonna roll. Someone says, I just realized that he can promote people and he has one of the best belt lineages. If you get your belt under Moneyberg, just go ahead and tap out. Alpha Bro Money Jiu-Jitsu Convention, only $4,000, $399.99 for 1-day seminar from pro athlete Mr. Moneybags, trained with the like of Don Janiher and Nicky Ryan's brother. For extra $17.69, get your black belt in our second day continuation. Says, imagine he's legit and makes the call though. Someone says, I'm just gonna show up with 6 stripes on my white belt. Dude, I'm horrible blue belt. Dude, I'm a horrible blue belt who regularly gets tapped by white belts, and the instructor who gave me my blue belt died in a car wreck. I'm hosed. I hope that's made up. Says being a blue belt is really no more impressive than being a white belt, especially being a bad blue belt. Just put on the white belt again and train. Literally, what is to be gained by faking a blue belt. Yeah, I mean, not much we can say. Don't fake your belts.